apologies to Megan Smith.
Good afternoon. This is Salima, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the DNC Immigration Conference Call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session. If you would like to ask a question during this time, simply press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. If you would like to withdraw your question, press the pound key. Thank you. I will now turn today's conference call over to Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz. Please go ahead.
Thank you, and hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on the call today. Yesterday, in an interview with Breitbart, Congressman Steve King, a Republican in Iowa, and Congressman Mo Brooks, a Republican from Alabama, openly questioned Dreamers' loyalties to the United States. They made it clear that they don't believe Dreamers are deserving of citizenship, even those who are willing to serve in our military and fight to defend our freedom. Congressman King even went as far as to say Dreamers should be deported. And these are direct quotes now. He said, if we're going to put out the bait, which is come into the U.S., break in, so to speak, smuggle yourself into the military, put on the uniform of the United States, take an oath to uphold our Constitution, which may or may not mean anything to them, and now we're going to reward you with citizenship, I think it's just a bizarre thing to do to reward people for breaking our laws, unquote. As soon as they raise their, here's another quote, as soon as they raise their hand and say, I'm unlawfully present in the United States, we're not going to take your oath into the military, but we're going to take your deposition and we have a bus for you to Tijuana. And Congressman Brooks said, how do you ensure that illegal aliens are loyal to America and not another country? Is it wise to entrust illegal aliens with questionable loyalties with America's military secrets and weapons, including weapons of mass destruction? Is it enough that illegal aliens join America's military, or should they be required to be honorably discharged or serve in combat before receiving amnesty for past illegal conduct? This rhetoric is insulting, unacceptable, and harmful. Dreamers have been fighting for their chance at the American dream. They're working hard to get an education and helping make our country better every single day. Democrats are united in the belief that Dreamers and other immigrants should have the opportunity to pursue the American dream. These most recent comments by my Republican colleagues are a new low in Republicans' attempt to insult Hispanics and the immigrant community and derail immigration reform. Republicans claim they want to do more to outreach within the Latino community, but their actions speak louder than their empty rhetoric. They've shown that they're on the side of extremists like King and Brooks by blocking every single attempt to bring up immigration reform, including just yesterday in the House Budget Committee, when all of the Republicans on the committee, including Chairman Paul Ryan, voted against an amendment to the Ryan budget that would create the economic infrastructure to support comprehensive immigration reform. The comprehensive immigration reform legislation would reduce the deficit by $900 billion, yet Republicans continue to put politics before people. Republicans act surprised that they have a problem garnering votes from Hispanics, yet they continue the same old tired drumbeat from Mitt Romney's 2012 campaign of, we don't like you and we don't trust you. That's no way to win people over, and it's not in the 2014 elections, electing Democrats who believe in creating opportunity for all, or Republicans who believe in opportunity only for a select few. Now I'd like to turn it over to Javier Gamboa. Javier?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Hi, my name is Javier Gamboa, and I'm a dreamer. I came to Cheyenne, Wyoming when I was 10 years old with a tourist visa. My family decided to overstay the visa to provide a better opportunity for our family. Living as an undocumented immigrant in a rural state like Wyoming with a population that is primarily white has been challenging. At times, I felt like an outsider. However, these challenges pushed me to go further. After graduating from high school here, I went to the local community college. Last year, I graduated from the University of Wyoming with a political science degree. And it's funny because before graduating from the University of Wyoming, the Wyoming Democratic Party reached me and offered me a position with them. And it was hard because I had to have an uncomfortable conversation with the executive director of my immigration status. Telling your story can be difficult at times, but they were very understanding and very welcoming. Robin Van Nastel, the executive director of the party, told me that Here at the Wyoming Democratic Party, we believe in people like you. We want people like you to thrive and to be successful. So the comments that were made by both Representative King and Representative Brooks have insulted the immigrant community, especially Dreamers. They have demeaned and degraded our lives by questioning our patriotism and loyalty to this nation. These comments are an insult and offensive to Dreamers like myself, who have been fighting for common sense, comprehensive immigration reform. Frankly, we're here because we want to make a lasting impact, both socially and economically. We want to see this nation thrive. For many of us, this is the only nation we can call home. Again and again, we have heard the Republican Party efforts to reach to minority groups. However, their toxic comments suggest otherwise. They continue to play on people's fears while alienating a large portion of the racing American electorate. But again and again, we've seen these Republican lawmakers like Representative Brooks and like Representative King go after the Latino community and go after the immigrant community. With that, I'd like to pass it along to Angie.
Thank you so much, Javier. Thanks, everyone. My name is Angela Kelly, and I'm with the Center for American Progress Action Fund. I'm the Vice President for Immigration Policy here, and am honored to be on the call, and want to just make a few quick observations about not just what was said yesterday, but what, in fact, the House Republicans have been doing. And so I guess the first point is that, look, their words are bad, but their actions are actually worse. And so for all the happy talk after the election in 2012 by Republicans saying that they wanted to turn the page and to pass comprehensive immigration reform and get on the right side with the Latino community, clearly the Steve Kings of the world and others are not didn't get that playbook. And worse, the House Republicans' track record on immigration in this Congress has just been abysmal. In June of 2013, as the Senate is passing a bipartisan sweeping immigration bill, House Republicans were voting to defund the Deferred Action Program that stops the deportation of Dreamers. That's the only vote that the House Republicans took in 2013. In 2014, their performance has actually gotten worse. They have voted on the Enforce Act and the Faithful Execution of Laws Act. Both of them are designed to limit the president's authority, and they're in response to, again, the Deferred Action Program for Dreamers, and they're in response to an announcement by the administration that for people in the military, that we wouldn't move to deport their parents, their spouses, or their kids, which seems pretty logical to me. If we've got folks in the military serving our country, we don't want them worried that their mom or dad or husband or wife or little boy or little girl are going to get deported. It's a very limited program just for those folks, and the way the Republicans responded was to try to curb the president's authority. Last month there was an opportunity as Democrats put forward H.R. 15, a smart, comprehensive bill that builds off of the Senate bill and that builds off of the House Homeland Security Committee border bill. They brought it up for a procedural vote as the Democrats can. And again, the Republicans voted against it completely. They had a chance to vote for comprehensive immigration reform, and they said no. And then even just yesterday, Representative Cardenas in the House Budget Committee, he offered an amendment to the Ryan Budget Act and offered the immigration bill because we know it's an economic winner. The CBO score on this is irrefutable. And what the Republicans did was in a party line vote, they voted against an immigration bill again, and the only thing they can say is that they're working on it, that they're working on their own bills. They have more excuses than my teenage daughters. My second observation is that in contrast to the Senate, which is a body of Democrats and Republicans, they managed to get a bill done. They managed to pass a bipartisan bill with Republicans supporting it. It was crafted in a gang of 8 with 4 Republicans and 4 Democrats. So It is possible for Democrats and Republicans to work to pass an immigration bill, and the Democrats, frankly, have come forward in a very united way around this bill that I mentioned, H.R. 15, which, again, builds from the Senate bill, and it also draws from a House bipartisan border bill, and have very reasonably said, take a look at this. Come forward with your own proposals. And here we are in April, no April Fool's joke, and they have still not come forward with any kind of legislation other than the anti-immigrant bills that I described earlier. And so that's my third point, is that the clock is ticking, that there are no more excuses. There are 30 Republicans that are on the record saying that they support a path to citizenship. Boehner has said over and over that he supports a path to citizenship and that he wants there to be comprehensive reform and put forward principles to that effect, which he almost immediately put on ice. The only indication we've seen so far is that, as they claim, they're talking about drafting a bill. Now, clearly, it's time to move beyond the talking and to get to the acting, because as the days pass, the intensity on these Republicans that are in purple districts is only going to grow, and then, frankly, there are growing calls on the president to act and exert additional administrative authority. So I don't have a crystal ball, but my best guess is that one end or of Pennsylvania Avenue or the other is going to act on this issue. And I would hope that it's the congressional end, because only legislation will finally fix our broken immigration system. Only legislation will bring 11 million people forward and give them a chance to find the American dream and to restore legality to a system that is completely in disarray and not serving our nation's interests. And thank you very much, and I'll turn it back to the Congresswoman.
Thank you, Angie. Salima, at this point, we'll open it up for questions.
As a reminder, if you would like to ask an audio question, simply press star, then the number 1. Again, to ask a question, please press star 1. We will pause for just a moment. Again, if you would like to ask a question, simply press star 1. There is a question from Laura Meckler of the Wall Street Journal.
Well, I felt bad that no one was asking a question, so I thought I could come up with something. No, that's not totally
so nice
true.
Of you, Laura.
That's okay. They just called votes, so
I actually missed the top of this call. So if there's any way that somebody here could just lay out your basic concern about the underlying point and whether you are doing anything to try to get this provision into the NDAA.
Well,
who is this talking? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. It's Debbie Wasserman-Schultz.
Oh, hey.
Hi. The purpose of the call is to highlight how extreme the Republicans continue to be. I mean, just simply in response to in Breitbart that was reported yesterday, and in an interview with Breitbart, you had Steve King. I'm not sure if you saw.
I did.
You know, the really horrific, outrageous comments that he and Mo Brooks made about Dreamers, and you know, just how insulting and unacceptable and harmful those comments were, and that essentially we have Republicans who continue to be the sole and exclusive obstacle to achieving comprehensive immigration reform. We have a bipartisan bill that passed the Senate that the Speaker refuses to allow to even come to the floor, let alone conference with the Senate. All they've thrown at an immigration reform is empty rhetoric, just words. And these are people who are here in this country just trying to make a better life for themselves. And we wanted to call attention to the extremist, outrageous comments, and also that you know, talk is pretty cheap. At the end of the day, there is no language we've seen. There's been no proposal made to move forward anything related to immigration reform on the House floor. And Democrats stand ready to bring comprehensive immigration reform to the floor in a bipartisan way like the Senate did.
If you would like to ask a question, please press star then the number 1. There is a follow-up question from Laura Meckler of the Wall Street Journal.
Hi. Laura? Okay. Thank you all very much for joining us. We appreciate it. If there's any follow-up, you can contact Peely at the Democratic National Committee.
Ms. Meckler, your line is open.
Okay. Great. Okay. All right, Dr. Okay.
Thank you. This will conclude today's conference call. You may now disconnect your line.